Okay, let's just dive right in. Welcome to this explainer on the really beautiful concepts from Kamala Manahari's blog, Aphoristic Thoughts. Today, we're taking a completely honest look at something I know we all struggle with, the sheer, everyday difficulty of simply being exactly where we are. We're going to explore the profound spiritual discipline of presence, we'll break down the literal equation for peace, and we'll walk through some incredibly practical daily habits, specifically morning affirmations and evening releases that can help us truly live in the now. We're taking this journey together, so let's unpack those hidden mental loads we carry around every single day.
Man, listen to this. The present is the only ground real enough to stand on. Everywhere else, we are walking on memory or mist. Let that sink in for just a second. That quote so perfectly captures our shared human struggle, doesn't it? I mean, how often do you sit down intending to be fully present and boom, your mind is entirely somewhere else? You instantly jump to a conversation from last Tuesday that you're kicking yourself over, or suddenly you're rehearsing an argument for a meeting that literally hasn't happened yet. We spend a massive amount of energy playing back the past and fast-forwarding the future. We worry, we anticipate, and we end up absolutely everywhere except right here, standing on the only solid ground we actually have.
And this completely flips the script on what it means to be present. Look, living in the now is one of those phrases we hear so constantly on podcasts, in self-help books, on those perfectly curated Sunday morning Instagram posts that it's kind of lost its punch, right? We genuinely want it, but actually doing it feels impossible. What we rarely admit is that genuinely living in the now is not just some casual wellness buzzword. It's demanding. It is actually one of the most profoundly transformative spiritual disciplines a person can practice. It takes real, intentional work.
Which brings us to our first core concept, the mathematics of presence.
Okay, so let's look at the actual equation for peace, and it is brutally honest. Living in the now equals life minus regret minus anxiety. The math here really forces us to look at where our mental energy is leaking. See, the past, when we flat out refuse to let it go, becomes regret. The future, when we can't stop obsessing over it, becomes anxiety. And life, the actual breathing happening right now, life we're supposed to be living, is whatever is left over only after both of those heavy burdens have been subtracted. Most of us are walking around carrying so much regret and so much anxiety that there's practically zero energy left over for the moment we are physically standing in.
Let's break down how those subtractions actually happen in real time. Over on one side, you've got the pull of the past. It yanks us backwards through unhealed failures, through disappointments, through those cringy words we wish we hadn't said. An untrained mind doesn't just casually remember these things, it spirals into them. You're literally rehearsing your greatest hits of failure in the middle of a perfectly good Wednesday. Then on the other side is the grip of the future, locking us down with anxiety. And that usually stems from two fears: the fear that we can't control what's coming, or the quieter, way more painful fear that we won't be capable of handling it when it does get here. Both sides ultimately, they boil down to our obsession with control.
So how do we fix it? Well, it's not about suddenly developing amnesia. The skill isn't pretending things didn't happen. It's the quiet, repeated practice of moving on. It's really a three-step process. Acknowledge what happened, grab the lesson it offered, and honestly, pitch the rest. This isn't a one-and-done magic trick. It's a practice we have to choose again and again, day after day, until our past finally becomes something we have walked through rather than a place we are still standing in. You cannot hold this moment if your hands are still full of yesterday and tomorrow. This is such a massive pivot point for us. Just visualize it physically for a second. If your hands are white-knuckling the mistakes of yesterday and tightly gripping the worries of tomorrow, how on earth are you supposed to reach out and hold what is right in front of you today? It's impossible. We have to learn how to put those suitcases down so our hands and our minds are finally free to hold the present.
But doing that is tough when your brain won't shut off, which leads us to creating space in the mind.
So a mind that has spent years constantly racing only slows down when it's given something steadier to rest on. We have to carve out these little pockets of pause where the noise is allowed to just settle on its own. Taking 2 minutes of morning stillness before reflexively grabbing your phone. I know it's so hard, but it's vital. Finding a gap between meetings where you consume absolutely nothing. Going for a walk without a podcast blasting in your ears. Eating a meal without staring at a screen. What I love about these ordinary acts is that they aren't some clinical biohacking productivity tools to make you work faster. No, they are tiny, deliberate orientations toward hope. When you create that quiet space, the possibilities of right now actually become visible again. Now, once you've created that space, you need an anchor. True, deep steadiness comes from tethering our minds to something higher, something way larger than the hit-or-miss outcomes of our daily lives. Think about it. When you are only tethered to outcomes, every single result is a massive emotional roller coaster. A small win makes you feel invincible, and a minor setback completely flattens you. But when you anchor in something higher, maybe that's a sense of purpose, your faith, or a commitment to a greater good, those everyday fluctuations, they just lose their power over you.
And when you start doing this inner work, it totally transforms how you show up in the world. You can literally feel it when you sit across from someone who genuinely practices presence. They just carry this lighter energy. They have this genuine, easy laughter that comes from a mind that isn't weighed down. They are fully there, actually listening to you, instead of their brain racing ahead to formulate their next reply. They stay remarkably calm in difficult situations, but without being emotionally detached. It's this quiet aliveness, right? A brightness that doesn't depend on everything going perfectly, but stems from deep internal steadiness. It is incredibly magnetic to be around.
Okay, so how do we build that kind of steadiness? It takes routine. Let's look at daily practices for the now.
Our daily cycle really has two vital halves, kind of like the bookends of your day, the morning affirmation and the evening release. Before the day even gets going, we practice cleaning the slate. We affirm that whatever happened yesterday, the wins, the mistakes, the endless unfinished tasks, none of it gets to walk into today uninvited. Today is a brand new page. And then, at the end of the day, we do the evening release. We take a few quiet minutes to intentionally unwind the mind. We honestly name what is stressing us out, and then, deliberately, we set it down. We're not solving it tonight, we are just releasing our grip on it. Sleep is meant to be a release, guys, not a continuation of your daytime mental load. To help cement this, let's move into our final section, affirmations to carry. I want to invite you right now to just drop your shoulders, take a real deep breath, and let's absorb these together.
I release the past with gratitude for what it taught me. It served its purpose. It got you to exactly where you are right now. But you don't need to live inside of it anymore. Give it a nod, thank you for the lesson, and gently let it go.
I trust the future without needing to control it. Imagine the sheer relief in that statement. You literally cannot orchestrate every single variable of tomorrow, and trusting yourself means knowing that whatever actually arrives, you're going to have the capacity to handle it when the time comes.
I give my full presence to this moment, because this moment is where life is actually happening. Look, life isn't in the instant replay, it's not in the dress rehearsal. True, vibrant, breathing life is only ever unfolding right here, in this exact millisecond. I am anchored in something greater than the success or failure of any single day. Remember your deeper roots. A bad Tuesday afternoon does not define your worth. A stressful Zoom call doesn't shake your foundation. You are tethered to something so much bigger than that. I do not have to carry what is no longer mine to carry. Consider this your official permission slip to finally drop those heavy bags you've been dragging around. Yesterday's regrets and tomorrow's anxieties, they are not yours to carry today. Just put them down. The now is enough, I am enough, and this breath is enough. Let that be the final, anchoring thought you take away from our time together in this explainer. You don't need to be anywhere else, and you definitely don't need to be anyone else. By showing up, practicing the mathematics of peace, and actively creating space in your mind, you are reclaiming your life. So I'll leave you with this. What is one heavy thing from yesterday or one worry about tomorrow that you can choose to set down right now, just so your hands are free to hold today?